Good afternoon. Gaea Lady, Mason Jiller, we are so excited to be bringing you yet another music and movement collaboration. Dancing to live music is one of my favorite things, which is perhaps why I'm so enamored with this one. It's not the only reason, but it's one of them. Um, so I'm so excited today to kind of stretch my boundaries in explaining musicality as a dancer. This is something I've never taught before, besides maybe here and there in private lessons. Um, and dancing to Mason Jiller's music is always a fun challenge because he loves to play things in crazy time signatures, which has always been something I can feel in my body and do, but can't quite always count with reliability. So this class is for both you and me to be able to understand what goes on in a musician's brain. So when you're dancing to live music, whether it's your friend playing guitar or a live band or your lover wanting to woo you and you wanting to impress them, you know that we met while I was performing and he was playing guitar at a gig, yeah? We did. So here we're bringing that back to you, and I'm so excited. We also have Amandatron over here in the corner, who's taking the class live, and excited to have people here too. Hey, you want to talk a little bit about the piece we're gonna dance to and play first?
Sure. This was composed at the beginning of our COVID quarantine adventures. It started then, and so this is in groups of three as far as our listening to it. 3, 4. So we're counting in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so that's the music end of it, and then we can put our dance steps to that. So G is going to link all that up, and I'm going to be playing. There's 3 sections technically, and so we'll start with the first section, and you'll just hear what is going on, and we'll repeat that over and over again and do some steps.
Over and over again.
We'll talk about where the beats come in, but generally it's 3. So if you keep your mind and body in groups of 3, and that's your flow, then you'll stay right with it. And this is very easy to listen to. It's not one of these complicated things. So you just have fun and flow with it.
Yeah, flow with it. The whole impetus behind this is water, is the essence of life. And so we call this piece sometimes water, we sometimes call it essence, we sometimes call it the waltz.
Rewilding.
I don't know. Sometimes I think we have all these different names for pieces and they get mixed and matched in different sections and chunks and become new things, which is so fun composing and playing with that. So this music is all about the rolling, the rollicking of water and the essence of how that moves through our bodies. Yeah? Yeah. Let's dance to it. Jay, will you play? Okay. So I invite you to listen to the music here and to move your body in whatever way feels best for you, to just experiment and see what your body wants to do to these tunes, and to use this as a warm-up, right? So more so than getting crazy expressive, see how your shoulders want to move and warm up to this, really get into your back and your chest, your hips and your hamstrings, your neck, your ankles. You can follow along with my lead, or you could do your own thing. Okay, this is the first section.
So, just as you're listening, what's happening is we just start off at the beginning. So the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. So these first two notes are the end of the cycle, and it's also the beginning. So it's 3 and 1. So it's always 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Thanks. I ask you in your body to think about where your body naturally moves to this. This song has so much movement and swirling and these like little binks in it that you'll notice that we naturally, at least me and Megatron here in the studio, right, find this swirl in the hips, kind of find this rocking back and forth in the body to go along with the tune. And so that is a huge portion of listening to musicality as a dancer, is to embody what you hear and just allow for it to come out through your body, because your body, more often than not, knows where it can hit with the music. And when you get out of your own way, when you stop judging, when you stop micromanaging every little movement, and when you also stop worrying about what you're going to do next and how it's going to come out, you can allow for your body to simply do it, to simply be, and to kind of find its own expression of musicality without that pre-planned thought. And that's what we'll be working on right now with your bodies. Yeah, a lot of my classes do this, try to get you out of your head and into your body, because I find it's one of the most important tools you can find as a mover, as a creator, as a dancer, and just as a human. So do you want to speak to what that's like as a musician? Do you have to do that too?
No, let's play.
Nope, shut down.
Let's talk more about that later.
Let's talk more music. Let's talk more music. Okay, so here we go. Listen to what your body wants to do even more this time through. Okay? Even more, tune in.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
There's more chords to this song that he plays sometimes. You want to play one more for contrast?
Section? Sure.
Yeah. So this next section, same thing. See where it goes in the body. And notice how the quality is similar, but a little bit different.
So you want to do 2 parts?
Sure. Those 2 parts together?
So the first section twice, and then this section twice.
Say to the humans.
We're going to play the first section that you heard. We'll play that twice, and then the section I just played, we're going to play that after that twice. So you'll be able to hear the differences, and then be able to, if you're following Gaea, do her stuff, or continue with your own choreography.
And just one note before we jump in on the body, right? So as you are dancing and moving, I want you to play with this dual awareness, right? When we listen to our body and we tune out of our thinking brain, we become aware of the music and allowing our body to respond to it. We have this awareness of the flow. However, I know a lot of you who take these classes are performers, aspiring performers, dancers in your own right, and I get so many questions about how to put together choreography or how to start to string these things together. So improv is an incredible tool towards building choreography. And so what we're doing right now by listening to Mason Giller's music and just allowing it to move through our bodies, right, we're idea generating. So a great way, if you want to, would be to take your recording device, a phone, or a camera, and you can set it up and just record yourself to see what comes out so you can remember. Or you can start to split your brain into this dual awareness where you are completely responding and aware to what is happening with the music and your body without micromanaging it or thinking, and split just a little part of your brain off to start to remember a little bit. This one's the tricky one. You have to remember what you're doing, right? Like Amanda Tron over here is doing this really cool inner thigh shoulder roll situation while I'm moving my hips side to side, right? So if I can be just the tiniest bit aware and put a little pinprick on the map of those little bits, you can come back to those, figure out what felt good, what you really liked, and then bring those back in and weave those pieces back in, and that's how you start to build choreography over time. Because trying to do choreography, I'm okay, Mason Giller, play the first 4 notes, and then I'm going to choreograph them. It becomes very stilted. And so when we can flow with it, and make mistakes and kind of idea generate, we can be able to bring that flow into choreo. So this time around, think about splitting that awareness a little bit or using your robots to assist you with that. Got it? Robots. Robots. Okay, here we go. How you doing? That's nice. So as we play, right, as we play with this, if you want, now's a great time. If you have, I don't know, a little pen and paper and you want to jot anything down that you really liked, or if that was a run where you're like, I don't know if I loved any of that, it can just fly off into the ether. It would be exactly what it was. Maybe not, I don't love any of that to repeat it, right? But it's good in the moment. So this is this process of putting together a string of movements. I want to speak to this 3, right? So Jay, how, Jay, Mason, Jiller, can I call you Jiller?
Anything you want.
I can call him anything I want. But as my grandma would say, but not late to dinner. So, right, there's this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 established. Okay? Getting that musicality in the body is really important, right? So it's this even beat, like boom, 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 boom. But within each of those, there's the 1, 2.
Right. Phrase of 3.
So you call it a phrase of 3 within the meter. Yeah. Oh.
3 quarter notes. 3 quarter notes per measure. So it's your dance. In many cases, we're dancing in 2 because we have 2 feet. And so when you start to do 3, your dominant foot changes each time you go through.
And how did you know that's where I was going next? Oh my gosh, your brain is so good. Just FYI, we very loosely ever plan these classes out and just go with what flows. So it's really cool when these things happen. So there's normally this 2-step, right? A lot of music, right, is in 4/4 or 4/8, right? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then you get 1, 2, 3, 4. Amanda's over here doing the robot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or what's it gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My mom was still is the director of the church choir. I remember always like sitting there behind her in the pews, like learning all her little hand motions.
Conducting.
Yes, conducting. little hand motions, conducting. Yeah, Mom, I hope you're not watching this. I love you. I hope you are watching this, actually. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We have this like kind of square box that's also made with the hands in that way, and this like square box where we can like step up and step back with those 4s. However, when we're in this 3, this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, they call that a waltz.
Per the region.
Per regions, it's a waltz. I learned it as a waltz. And so it changes your foot every time you step. And so we as dancers express that either through those conducting hand motions, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it kind of becomes this lift, this kind of circular motion, rather than so much of that box. With our feet, okay? So with our feet, rather than going like step, 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 or step, touch, right? Which is a 4-4 movement, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have this 3 where you go 1, rock, rock, okay? So generally you don't have time for those extra 4 steps because it's in 3. And so you end up doing this rock, rock, right? So it goes step, switch your weight, step back on it. Step, switch your weight, step back on it, okay? So it's almost like a little pony, boom, step, bump, bump, okay? And so this is an upward moving 3-step, or a straight parallel pause, right? 1, up, up, step, up, up. But you can also down and down, down and down, step and down, step. So here with the musicality, will you just play that lick a little bit, and let's play with those 3 steps, those different ways to express them, either going up or going down, okay? See what the music tells you it wants to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Step and up, step. Can you feel this circular motion, this half circle kind of wave? 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try it going down. Step and down and down. How low can you get? Step and down and down. Now go up, down, up, down. Making your body into a wave and down. Good. Right? It has this quality, the music has this kind of pendular quality where there's a breath at every end that's offered by that 3. And in our body, we also have that kind of expanse up or that expanse down, where we have just enough time to kind of catch the end of it before we're swung to the other side. It's pretty cool. We're going to play with that turning, okay? So we can take these step and touch, step, rock, rock, step, rock, rock, step, rock, rock, anywhere we want, right? We can take that forward, step, forward, and step, forward, and we can go backwards, back, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So like anywhere, right? So you can add fanciness into it with arms and legs, and that's where your musicality comes in to express your originality. But we can also turn it. We can turn it. So we go step, together, step. Okay? And there's not really a touch at the end of it because it's in 3. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and because there's not a grounding touch at the end, we're which happens in our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we can get a little whirling, topsy-turvy with it. So I recommend grounding of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And just let your feet find that pattern and do some turns and then work your way out of it. Like if you get too dizzy, go through it. Some bodily notes. When you're turning, hold in your core and allow for your shoulders and your lats to hold down and try to pull your elbows out just a little bit as this opens up the back chain of the body, because when you're turning, you're actually turning with the back chain here. This is the part that's going around. That'll start to move you. So if you kind of crunch into it, you're going to lose your stability. That's not to say you can't lay back into it, but you have to really open up through these outer edges. 1, 2, 3, in order to pull yourself across with the lateral edge of your body. Okay? And that'll help give you that whip. You ready? Yeah. You want to switch? I'll play. You dance?
Yeah, that's going to look beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to sound terrible. All right. Find that swing. 1, 2, 3. Find it in the body. And slowly find the engagement through the sides of your body, underneath the elbows, into the hips. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Add those turns. 1, 2, 3. And it doesn't have to be a full turn. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Try to keep the feet in pattern and see where the body goes. 1, 2, 3. 1. How was it? Let's do it again, yeah? Dizzy? Huh? Repeat. And repeat! Something to play with within that is to keep your rhythm. Find that music beat, okay? Find that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then as we add these layers on, right, the simple steps are really easy to flow back and forth with because it's very linear. When we start to add the turns into it, we add all these different layers. Just like Mason Giller adds on all these different layers with his fingers, and he could just be plucking out a really easy rhythm. We get to add into this our own expression through these spins. Okay, so find that grounding rhythm and just kind of see where your hips and the sides of your body take you. Okay, one note too, that third beat can be expressed by a pause. Okay, so it could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, step, step, pause, step, step, pause. Okay, so when you're turning, if you find yourself on a funky foot or like twisted up into a pretzel place, one of those beats can be a pause, but I want you to still feel that pause in the body. If you pause, 2, 3, step, 2, 3. So really find that 3.
Can we, for a brief moment, speak to the 3 or the collection of numbers? And that can be...
Will you speak to it?
Yes. We're speaking to the collection of numbers as she is talking about 1, 2, 3 and keeping track of these things. And in this sense, I always remind myself that there's many ways to keep track of the collection. So if it's colors for you or favorite things you love, you know, apple, pear, cat, and the cat is the beat that you rest on, or, you know, whatever it is, 1, 2, 3 is Euro talk for boom, boom, boom.
Apple, pear, cat.
Yeah. So whatever that collection is for you, that what we're speaking of. You don't have to think in your mind 1 and put your foot down. It doesn't have to be 2 and 3. It's whatever that constellation of movement is to you. And it's the same thing with music, and that's why I talk about it, because this is the same. We're trying to do the same things together, symbiotically create something beautiful by us orbiting in our collections together.
Creating stellar constellations of movements, magic, and music. Can you clarify something with the 1, 2, 3 with the apple, pear, cat? So are you saying like you can emphasize cat, like if you're like 1, 2, cat, boom, boom, cat, boom, boom, cat, or are you saying you can go apple, apple, apple? Are you saying you can go pear?
Yeah, no, I'm more speaking that your 1, 2, 3 doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3. It can be red, blue, green, and that's your cycle. That's yours.
It's just bum 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 bum.
Yeah, whatever your those and it can be pair because those things aren't different either. It just sometimes they have different emphasis and accent, and so they're all just elusive things that you'll make for yourself, and those are your associations. But when we say beats 1, 2, and 3, we're not like you have to think 1 for 1, 2 for 2. Like it can be anything. Whatever helps you keep track of your thoughts and your insights.
And from a dancer's perspective, we use the counting language as a commonality. And it doesn't have to be that, right? We can make it whatever we desire. But as a dancer, right, the Manatron is here, and we're trying to do a choreographed piece in sync, and we want to look the same while we dance to the same piece of music. Having those commonalities is really crucial, right? To be like, okay, step with your right foot on 1 to the right side. 1, 2, 3, and then the 2, 3 is a rock. So you associate different movements of the body with those beats of the music, which we give names to. And so that's why you find dancers often counting and learning to count the music, because it allows for you to be in sync and also develop that musicality that you can then divest to other humans and to encourage other humans to be on the same count, the same beat, the same meter, the same page as you. But yeah, we can, I think 1, 2, 3 is easy, but also like red, blue, green, red, blue, green.
Oh yeah, no, not for translation. It's for an after, the after word, not as means of translation. Just within one's head.
So basically, you do you. There's no preconceived notions you have to prescribe to. That's classic Mason Giller talk for you. He's like, yeah, but they taught you that, so why don't you question it?
Should we do both sections again?
Okay. And so this time, as you flow, play with those 3 steps, those waltz steps as we call them. Play with, I don't know, little jumps with them, little leg kicks, but then integrate in all of your flow like we did before. So throw the waltz steps out the window and then go back to your own flow and then integrate them back in as we go.
So we're back to 4 sections.
Yep.
The first 2 are the same, second 2 are the same. And that'll be your window.
That would be our sphere.
Okay.
Now I ask you, are you thinking about it too much now?
Yep.
Oh, right. We like come back to this play where we have to learn about the music. We have to listen to it actively with awareness to bring it into our bodies and figure out what we want to do. But then there's this fine line of listening to it too much and starting to get to that micromanaging place where then we don't let our body do its thing. So I ask for you to, Jay, will you just play whatever, something totally different? Maybe
Yeah.
the next section, or?
Yes, exactly.
And I want you to clear back out. Okay, I want you to let yourself get out of that micromanaging space. Right now, the Pussy Magic program, the burlesque, transformational, act building, 6-month program, we are in the thick of finishing our acts, and everyone's getting into their heads. Okay, so I want you now to notice, because this is this process where we're like, do I like it? Do I not like it? We have to activate these places. And we also have to know how to just let it go. So, let's do it. Let it go. Strip it away from your mind. Take a deep breath through the middle. Ground your feet into the floor. Take a bunch of nourishing breaths up your channel and back down through the spinal column, through that center channel. Letting go of any little holdings on of the mind, any fist grips, any little finger pinches. Take the arms out in any capacity and expand the sides of the body out. Breathing. Come back to this place of letting the music move you. no good, no bad, not even indifferent, just aware, being aware. When
I lost my grandma.
Interesting.
I increased the tempo.
Amanda Tron says that they lost their breath more, and then Jay over here is like, well, I increased the tempo, so there you go. So that'll totally happen, right? But being aware of what's happening in the music and just letting the natural awareness of your body, this soft expanse of being, is where your greatest musicality is going to come out. Okay, so I find that it comes out in these two crazy ranges, right? One is pure improv, where you're not thinking about anything with your brain, but you're thinking about everything with your mind body, right? With the cells, the muscles, and letting them respond. So what is this pure improv? And the second place of high musicality expression is at super rehearsed and embodied choreography, okay? And then everything in the middle can get a little fucking crunchy. So what I mean by very rehearsed and embodied choreography is when I go through this whole process from, in my mind, perhaps in yours too, Jay, where you're like composing, choreographing, putting a piece together, rehearsing it, working through the kinks, allowing your body to know it so well that all of a sudden you get to a point where you don't think about your composition or your choreography anymore, and you actually start dancing it again in the same place that you did when you were first improvising. It's very funny. So instead of like throwing the keys to the wind, I don't know if that's actually a phrase, but throw your car keys to the wind and just improv. Ooh, dangerous. Right? Then you find this same thing on the other end. It's almost like you have put all the steps together so then you can have a strong skeleton structure to then do micro improvisations within it. Does that make sense? Yeah, and it's really funny, and it's something that you can't actually find kind of in the middle. You can't find this heightened awareness in the middle. It's this like sticky place you just gotta slog through. I'm 100% serious about that.
Yep, gotta get through.
Yeah,
if you don't find it.
Yeah. And we both have students and friends who are performers come to us who are like, how do you do this in this end place where it's composed, choreographed, and you can just do it so fluidly with grace and ease? We're like, well, it's because we put in hours of the crunchy, sticky, mucky, weird, where you're like, nope, go back, try it again. Nope, go back, try it again. Nope, oh, I don't like that. Let's redo the whole thing. And then 12 hours in the studio later, you find yourself in this place. And so that's truly that journey into the musicality, right, is the gem of understanding how the body comes through and fully expresses a composition, in my mind, whether it's recorded or live. And there's always this element of releasing back into the music, back into the body, no matter where you are in this process. Even if you're in this like active thinking, doing, you still have to release back into it so you truly know how it feels and if you like it. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, gotta get dirty. Get through the muck. And if you do, if you got the stomach for it, then you will be rewarded.
And that's where the arts, the creative practice takes that discipline. You gotta get dirty. You gotta get weird. You gotta be diligent and resilient. And then at the other end, poof, you find yourself in this amazing place.
And something I've learned from Gaea is that when you get to that crunchy space, it's so uncomfortable, and you're like, I don't know how to do this. Like if you come to it with that mindset of like, I don't know how to do this and I can't, it will shut you off from doing it. But if you come to it and you're just like, well, this is crunchy. We're gonna crunch right through this, and then you can.
Oh, thank you for weaving that through, because it is. It's like you can shut yourself down from that literal awareness, from the musicality, from the creative channel, and then also then you shut yourself down from the process and the joy of the journey, because you're like, "Gah, this sucks so bad. I don't want to do it. I can't do it." And it's okay to think those things, right? But they'll come up, and it's important that they come up because that shows you where you have to, I think, soften your edges, and then just be like, "All right, we're just gonna be weird and crunchy and fall on the ground for a little while."
And then you can just observe that, and you're just like, all right, it's crunchy, and I'm looking a little weird and awkward, and that's okay, and I'll learn from it.
And what does that sound like on the guitar, Jason? That crunchy spot that we talked about.
Jason's like,
That's
I
a
don't
whole
have
different.
crunchy
That's a whole
spots.
different job. Putting sounds to emotions.
It is similar. Okay, so if I can witness, he's creating a composition, right? There's so much of like literally slowing it down to micros, to like super slow speeds, tons of weird notes where he's like, nope, go back, nope, go back, do it again, bah, you know?
Here's how annoying it is. All day long.
Yep.
Alright, let's do it. Come on.
But it's true, it is. So like, if you find yourself in that position where you're just like not getting it like I am, or like he is, or like Megatron is,
Or take a break.
Yeah.
Wait a day, and
Let your brain rest.
that's it. Probably just tired.
Where time flies. Let's do it again. Yeah? So we're gonna do the two,
and then section this
C,
C.
Yeah.
A B B C for right now.
cat, dog, bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A, and then everyone's favorite news. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Everyone take a deep breath. Clear out. I want you to come to this playful place of curiosity with this improv, and then also maybe grazing into that crunchy territory. And being okay with whatever happens. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. At your leisure. Thank you. Oh, he's still playing.
No, he's practicing.
Totally. It's just, it's like, I feel in my bones. I'd love to hear what you feel too. But like this surrender to the music, and I'm actually not using my eyeballs as much as I do when I'm performing. I'm like almost in my own little bubble with the music, and I feel like I'm this whirling little tiny raft on a big giant river, and I'm just moving around and finding little still places, and then kind of emerging back out into consciousness and awareness, and be like, oh, here we go, like my body's naturally finding center points between the movements. It's cool. It's really fun. How about you?
I feel like the music is like
This way's like
I feel like the music is just like mainlining into my veins, and then it just like fills me up, and then it's not quite the same as like white water, but it's kind of like the white water rapids are inside my body.
Absolutely. And so for me, hey, Mason Giller, how's that for you? Pretty nice. What did it feel like?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Do you say that to them?
I don't know what it felt like because I wasn't here.
Ultimate dimension, pure musicality.
Right, and I think that's what we're also speaking to, but it's also like being more in the body. We feel these images. I think we've also trained ourselves to feel these images of what's happening. But I also will totally tell you, I totally checked out of that one, and I couldn't tell you what I did besides like whirling around and like maybe holding a few like one-legged things at some point.
It's like being in a wonderful meditative state, and or having taken the best products you've ever had.
The total best, with no hangover and like no down after. It's
just delicious. And so, yeah. I don't know.
totally delicious.
Let me wrap it back into musicality. Yeah, so allowing yourself to release and relax into your musicality, whether it's to live music, or whether it's to a pre-recorded track, or whether it's the musicality of your own body in silence and space around you. Relaxing and releasing into this flow is going to allow you to understand how your body responds to music and where your body can express those points of music. And then you can begin to learn more about how to sculpt those through your time. So that's what I gotta say about musicality. It's a journey. It takes a long time to both train the body to hit those things on the note. It takes a long time to learn a song, more so than just one class, to really know where the nuances are. So if you're improvising something for the first time, the more you can release, the more musicality you're going to have. As you start choreographing, composing to a thing, the more you get to know the piece and go through all that crunchy weirdness, the more you'll emerge, the easier you'll emerge out onto the other side, poof, with that full expression of awareness in the music and musicality to the soundscape. So that's my 2 cents. What do you want to offer any parting shots?
You got it really good. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Oh, yeah, huge. Because in the end of it, it's really a game. Like we're playing with our bodies to sounds.
Yeah, and if you're like ever find yourself in a frustrated place, then just let the music take you. Just no matter what happens, even if it's crunchy and weird and awkward, like the music will guide you and hold you.
It will. So with that, thanks. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for experiencing this hour about musicality with us. And
Have a wonderful day.
have a lovely day wherever you are. Please
Enjoy.
always message, always let me know how this went, how you enjoyed it, what you liked, what you want to see more of, and just know that I am so, so grateful to be sharing all of this with you and for your support and exchange. Together, we're sculpting this new paradigm. So thank you.